How can someone tell the time of death? What type? Let's suppose it's a car fire, and investigators are coming out to an accident, and there's a decedent in the driver's seat. It's been on fire. Fire's been extinguished. How would they estimate the time of death?
Okay. There's some easy questions and then hopefully some good points that I can make out of this one. As I had mentioned earlier, time of death, there's a scale, a timeline of how the body decomposes and skeletonizes and mummifies and things like that, which we're not talking about here. Car fire time of death would be called perimortem. There's an antemortem period, which is when you're alive or before death. Perimortem period, which is around the time of death, and we would just say this person, died, perimortem from a car fire. And then, of course, there's antemortem, which is after death. Those come in actually more in play, if I can get off the car fire for a second. Those come more in play with, was this mark on the bone made antemortem, perimortem, or postmortem? Because we can tell, because the bone is green when it's fresh, whereas if it's dry, the marks will leave different striations, different types of marks. I'm an osteologist, I go back and forth. As to the barbecue, one of my favorite words, that you would know within a half an hour. Well, I guess you could actually find somebody that died, you can find the car fire 3 days later if they were out in the rural woods. That would go into the timeline of death and decomposition that I've mentioned before. So that would play into it, and the charred remains would have to be taken into consideration. I don't know of any algorithms for considering that, but we would still go under the basic, rigor mortis, liver mortis, lividity. I'm trying to think of the process, the bloating, stuff like that, and we can still tell roughly how long it's been. The longer it's been, and this is good for writing, the longer it's been, the harder it is to tell. Whereas we can say, rigor mortis is set in, but rigor mortis also sets out. It sets in, it sets out. It starts 12, 14 hours in, but within a day or two, it releases and goes out. I may have my numbers a little skew, I apologize. But still, it starts and then it stops. So you can say if they're in rigor mortis, it's within this time period. And that would still work with a car fire. A car fire that just happened on the side of the 101 freeway, you're going to have a respondent immediately. So you'll probably have eyewitnesses that this happened almost instantaneously. You will not be able to, I don't know if this is part of the question, you will not be able to ascertain how long was the car fire or anything like that. You can tell if they died before the car fire, interesting fact though, if there's searing of the lungs. This is at autopsy. If there's searing of the lungs, they breathed in the flames. If there's no searing, then they weren't breathing when they died.
Oh, interesting.
So they may have passed away from a heart attack, car caught on fire because it crashed and burned. So you can tell if they were alive or not when they hit the thing. So that's one way of incorporating that.